Back to my YouTube live stream. For this video, I'm gonna go ahead and focus the topic on targeted individuals with relationships and rejection. Now, why is it so complicated for targeted individuals to be able to have actual, real relationships, genuine relationships as a TI, and why most of the time it's quite impossible to be able to develop a friendship or a romantic love interest relationship with another person as a targeted individual. Now, when you're being a targeted individual, you're technically being scapegoated, you're technically in this position of being isolated, not having a great support system along your way as a TI, and most of the time you're being led to the point of isolation where they will sabotage and they will try to get in the way and intervene you from having a friendship or a relationship or any relationship that is built off of a positive note and not toxic. So, first and foremost, you have to have the spirit of discernment. You have to be very intuitive and very aware of who comes in and out of your life as a targeted individual, because most of the times the people that tend to get very close to us come out of the blue, out of nowhere, wanting to be our friendship very rapidly, desperately needy. They try to cling on to us and present themselves as our friend or as someone who is highly interested in who we are as a person. So we have to be aware of the traps that are placed in our lives as a targeted individual. Now, I want to first begin by explaining to you guys that I've been a targeted individual ever since birth. So most of the friendships that I had developed were very short lasting. They didn't really last that long. They were only like a couple of weeks being that friend, and then all of a sudden that friend would just avoid me or believe false accusations that were being spread around me about my reputation, lies, persecution and all that. We're as a TI, we're constantly getting persecuted. We're constantly having our names smeared and smear campaigns by narcissists, by flying monkeys, by a lot of gang stalkers and agents who are always keeping tabs on us and keeping their eyes on us and making sure that they always know our every move and our every step along the way. 24/7, 7 days a week, we're constantly having someone just monitoring us, stalking us. And these are what we called agents, community-based agents, CBAs, and many of them will pretend to be your friend, pretend, act to want to get to know you, to only infiltrate, which is invade your privacy, get close to you to gain personal or to gain the upper hand or control in your life as to why they're trying to be a part of your life. And they try to insert themselves very strongly into your life to the point where you have to have very strong mental and emotional boundaries aware around these people, because they are technically just trying to carry out information about you to carry out to the people who are attacking you in the program. So make sure that you don't share too much personal information and you take your time in every relationship, because they tend to get destroyed or sabotaged if they're not built off of trust, and if there's no reciprocity, if there's no true genuine care for one another, then it's really no point in having certain relationships as a targeted individual, because they'll bring you down, and you need to have enough energy to combat everything that you go through on the day-to-day basis. So Oftentimes, when you have a friend as well, they can even try to turn that friend against you by um, by targeting that friend who is a weaker vessel, who is isn't doesn't really have a strong sense of self or a strong sense of spirit. Like they're kind of like a weaker vessel, and your spirit is a lot more strong. You're very confident in who you are, and you have the Holy Spirit, which you're being led by. But other people who come into your life, they may not be at the same level that you're on spiritually. So it's easy for other people to convince them of something about you that isn't true, and then they get led astray and end up being against you, or they end up being your friend, but at the same time they carry out personal information to other people so they can destroy you and try to gain more access into what is going on in your life. Like you're like ask you questions about things that you like, things that you don't like, and it's very important to not be too revealing and to not give yourself away, not even to friends as a TI. You have to be very aware of what you're telling to other people. So, first and foremost, they will use a weaker person, a weak friend if you have a friend, and they could easily try to persuade them or convince them to believe something about you that isn't true just because they're trying to scapegoat you and keep you isolated so you don't have enough evidence and more people supporting you on your team. So they can easily gaslight you and gaslight your experience. That's why they try to isolate you, so it's easier for them to gaslight you and make you question your sense of self and your sense of reality and what you've seen and what you've heard and what you've actually felt in the spiritual realm from these community-based agents and people who throw spiritual attacks your way. It's less credible when it's one person against a lot of other people, but when you have a friend supporting you who sees what you see, it's another ally on your team, and they are aware of this, so they try to get in the way of any relationship that you have that has barely begun to take place in your life. Stay low key and move in silence. Exactly. And try not to give people too quickly the benefit of the doubt, because that can get you in some messy situations where they're trying to set you up or they're trying to entrap you with another person. So you have to allow them to reveal who they really are before you even tell them. And remember to not go based off of the flesh of how their appearance is, because other people will tell you, no, he's a good person. No, that person is really nice. I like that person, or but then they can actually be saying that's a good person when in reality they're not a good person at heart, and they're hiding who they really are. They're concealing their demons. So other people may say that's a good person over there, but with you as a targeted individual, they'll lie on you and they'll paint you out to be a bad person when in reality you're a good person. But people are only being persuaded by the flesh, by what they see and what they hear, and they're walking by sight and not by faith and not in spirit. So this is why you can't always trust, mankind. Go based upon whatever mankind says to you, because other people try to convince you and put you in the situation where, as a targeted individual, you're being entrapped in. You know what I mean? Like, they'll say like, "Oh no, he's a good person. He has like I don't see. There's nothing wrong with him. Like, why would that person think or be so untrustworthy of that person if that person tends to be very likable and other people tend to gravitate towards that person when in reality they're not a good person. So it's kind of the same as a TI, but it's the opposite of what we go through. So the bad people in our lives, like the agents, they're being painted as good people, as people of service, as people who um have good hearts and are genuine and good in the spirit, when in reality, targeted individuals are being painted the opposite way. Their good is seen as evil for other people, and they paint them as that's the bad one. That's the bad guy. That's the bad girl over there. So just be aware of that, you know? Don't go based off of what other people are telling you. Go based off of what you feel, what you sincerely, what you really feel. If you feel something's off, if you feel that something's not right, if something's not adding up, if there's a missing piece in that relationship and there's a disbalance of trust in that relationship, or it seems too good to be true, step away and actually trust your spiritual senses and your intuition exactly, because not everything that you see in sight is what it really is. Sometimes it's the opposite of what you're seeing. So a lot of people go based off of what other people believe and stuff like that. So it's important to find a genuine relationship. And as targeted individuals, your presence, your spirit, your mind, you're very intelligent, you're very discerning, you're aware of a lot of stuff that other people are not aware of, and they don't have that certain spiritual ability, that gift that you have of discernment, of knowing good from wrong and knowing when something is good or bad. But you have that. So don't let anyone um, gaslight you into thinking that what you feel is wrong or what you see is not really what it really is, because you truly know what's best for you, and only you can truly guide yourself towards the path, the narrow path that many few are taking towards salvation. So that's why, as a TI, most of us are isolated. Most of us we walk this journey alone. We're never alone. We always have Jesus Christ walking by our side. So, but we do walk this. It's a very lonely, narrow path, which very few people will take this path. And as a TI, your path is different from other people who will not understand you. They'll misunderstand you, they'll judge you, they'll tell you that you're crazy, whatever you tell them that you're going through, you're experiencing, they'll tell you that doesn't seem like it's real, or you're just paranoid, and they won't validate your experience as a targeted individual. So that can be re-traumatizing for you as well, to invite other people, because you don't know if you can truly trust them, or if they truly have good intentions towards you and good motives, or if they have an agenda, an assignment that they're being sent to get close to you. The more closer we get to God, the more they attack. If they can't get you on the physical, they'll send spiritual attacks through your dreams. Don't tell nobody your business. Keep to yourself. So, as I was saying, you know, what hold on. So you have to be aware, because some people are master manipulators. It's natural for them to lie, to manipulate, and to deceive, because they've been doing it all their life. They've been taught at an early age that they had to play this role, to deceive people into thinking one way when in reality it's the other way around. So just be aware as a targeted individual. And yes, as targeted individuals, we may become very mistrustful because we've constantly been betrayed. We constantly allow people in our life who only end up trying to use that information or our vulnerabilities against us as TIs. So what I have to say as well is, beware of those people who come out of the blue, who come out of nowhere, and they want to be your friend rapidly. Like, you guys don't even have any history together. You don't really know each other at all, but they seem highly invested and highly in tune to helping you and to wanting to improve or better your life in one way towards using one of your vulnerabilities. So, you have to be vigilant of the people that come near you and what they tell you and the type of questions that they ask as well, because some of it's very obvious that it's just an act, and that they're being told what to do and what to say to try to deceive you into thinking that maybe they do want to be your friend, when in reality they're just there to just get information and run with it and inform the handler about things that you've revealed to them about yourself. So, when my targeting began, I started having people stalk me, from my apartments. I would come out and they were in their balcony just staring there, watching everything that I would do. And just keeping tabs on me. Like, their eyes were just glued onto me as a target. And one of them, one day, as I was walking, I just sat down on a bench, and that person just approached me out of nowhere. As I was sitting there, he just came close to me and he started, being very overly nice and flattering me, telling me, "Oh, you're so pretty," and, "Oh, can I get your number?" And then I was like, "No, I don't really know you." And I was aware that he was stalking me for several days, ongoing, every single day, every time I would walk out or enter my home. And he sat next to me and he started asking me personal questions. So, what's your name? How old are you? Where do you live? He already knew where I lived because he would watch, so he didn't have to ask that question. And then he asked, like, where do you work? What do you do for work? How much do you make for your job? What's your biggest fear? And I told him spiders, and that ended up being used against me. And he asked me, do you ever think about being a model? And I was like, no. And just certain questions that pertained nothing to the discussion, and I don't even know this person, but he's trying to act like a friend and build a fake relationship. Like, "Oh, we should get together, we should, hang out more, maybe one day I can invite you to hang out with me and we can even go out to eat," or, all that type of lies and stuff like that. But that's how they'll future fake with you. They'll use future faking to get you to get to you, like on a hook, to get you where they want you. They'll bait you and then they'll switch. So yeah, they'll just ask the questions very upfront and they'll tell you exactly why they're there and what kind of information they want to get out of you. But that's not a real friendship. That's not a real relationship. So you have to be aware as a targeted individual if that relationship is actually worth even giving your attention to, or that person, that individual, that person even worth your time. And learn how to walk away and move on. Even if you have to walk alone, it's better to walk alone than to walk with someone that really wants to harm you or hurt you or exploit you and manipulate you in one way or another. So be conscious of that. Another thing I would say is, like, even relationships. Like, let's talk about honeypots. So I didn't even know this until someone mentioned it. And it's even honeypots, they'll use honeypots to even get information, access, to surveil you, to like watch you and to actually see, to gain really like closeness towards you, to control you or manipulate you, and to inform other people about yourself. So like honeypots would be like very attractive people, like people that, a person that you've always wanted to date, like your dream girl, your dream guy, or someone that looks like they're an angel of light when in reality they're disguised as a demon. Like, they really are not what they appear to be on the outside. So I've had this happen, I've had a guy like smile and like pretend like he was so interested and into me, like, "Oh, you're so pretty," and I've never. Can you hear me? Is my video really on mute? Or are you just saying that? So yeah, there's honeypots, that even on dating apps as well. As a targeted individual, I would not recommend, using dating sites, because that's one way that they'll try to reject you. That's one way that they'll try to play with your emotions as well. and manipulate your heartstrings and play on those vulnerabilities and those emotions that you have. So I've heard other stories from TIs that they download dating apps and they end up getting played along for a while, and then those honeypots end up being their worst nightmare. They end up being a gang stalker, and throughout the whole relationship, you know, sending hand signals or doing things while in that relationship that like they're betraying you the whole time, and the whole time they really didn't even feel those emotions for you. It was all just a facade that they presented themselves to love you. They fake their emotions towards you as well. People are very good at faking their true emotions towards you. Like they'll act like they like you, they'll act like they care about you, they'll act like they love you, they'll act like they really want to help you and be there for you, but it's the opposite. So wolves in sheep's clothing is what we call them, but they're still a wolf at heart. So yeah, that's one thing with relationships and rejection. Then they'll start rejecting you. Once rejection is very That's one thing that lots of targeted individuals go through. So they start with baiting you, being nice to you, and then all of a sudden they start being mean to you. They start giving you dirty looks out of nowhere. And one day they were nice to you, greeting you hi, and then the next moment they're like, and they look at you nasty because they're trying to reject you. They're playing off of your emotions. So you have to make sure that you don't invest your emotions and don't attach yourself to anyone else externally, outwardly. The only person that you should be really redirecting your focus on is Jesus Christ and your guardian angels who are protecting you and guiding you the whole entire time. Because that's one thing that they do. They love to do that rejection type of thing to make you feel bad, to put you down, and to make you feel like you're not worthy. But you are worthy, even without anyone in your life. You don't need anyone else to validate your worth or anything like that. Even yeah, the coworkers, friends would say it's a game. Mm-hmm. Two-faced people. They're nice to you in your face, but then they stab you in the back and they talk badly about you behind your back. That's a form of betrayal. But let's talk about rejection as a TI. Like, even you, if you want to build a relationship and you get close and you start talking to someone, they'll reject you. They'll be like, oh, like, don't talk to me, or they'll just ignore you, or they'll make you feel like you're not worth their time or their attention. So, as a TI, it's better to not go out and look for relationships, to just allow them to naturally just happen, and just guard your heart. Guard your heart, protect your heart. Yeah, they'll give you the silent treatment. Life is a game because that's how many narcs there are. Yes, there's a lot of immaturity. People who don't really value true loyalty, respect, reciprocity, and love. Like real love, not manipulation, not abuse, none of that. Or also be aware of the people who were part of your targeting, and then they try to get close to you all of a sudden and pretend like they want to be your friends and that they want to start a friendship with you and gaslight you as if nothing ever happened. Don't fall for those type of people who come in and out of your life either, because or people who come from your past. So those type of people who will show up from your past, like your old family, old friends, and they're being used as pawns to get to you, to sabotage you, to twist your words around whenever you have a conversation with them and make it sound like you did something bad or you said something bad and you didn't even say it the way that the how they perceived it to be, because they purposely want to twist your words and make it out to be that you are actually not being real, or I don't know. There's a lot of projection as well. Yes, they're always after something, so just be on guard. Have your guard up. Don't have your guard down. Don't expose all your vulnerabilities. And when you feel something's wrong, walk away and don't entertain it. But yeah, people from your past may even be used as agents to come back into your life, to pretend to see how you're doing, to see how you've been, to say that they missed you and we should get together, and then they'll ask questions about you. How have you been? And tell me what have you been doing, or how's this or that, and just to, yeah. So be aware of that. Or they need your support in one way. To use you, right? To use you. So make sure that you're not afraid of saying no to people and not allowing them to have re-access into your life, because you should have self-respect and love yourself enough to walk away from anything that does not serve you, and it doesn't serve you any good to even be around a certain person who is envious, who is a hater. Like, just let them go. Let them go. Because God will bring better people. Even if it's not physical, even through here, you can still build off a relationship through here with someone. I highly recommend that. And someone who actually has walked in your shoes and who actually understands what you've gone through and what you've experienced, because it's really hurtful when you express yourself and then they end up insulting you or telling you that something's wrong with you when there's nothing wrong with you. Another thing is, don't allow anyone to make you perceive yourself a way that you're not. So they'll reject you, they'll insult you, and then they'll tell you something that is untrue about yourself. Don't personalize it. Don't internalize it as if it's you that did something in the relationship, because the majority of their time it's them who have the problem to begin with, because why would somebody come in and then automatically just leave after they get information off of you? Because their intention was never to build a relationship with you. It was only to gather data and information about you to carry out towards other people who are also rats and agents. So yeah, you got to know yourself very well. Stand your ground as well. Set those firm boundaries. And if they reject you, be happy, because that just means that it's for your protection and that you didn't waste any time with them. Because lots of people will try to waste your time to distract you, to string you along, to then exploit you, manipulate you, or hurt you. There's a lot of those people around us. So test the spirits, test the spirits to see if they're from God or for the Antichrist. Don't allow anything that is negative into your life. And if you've already seen these people for who they are, don't give them another chance for them to show you again who they really are, because they've already showed themselves to you. God already revealed to you who your enemies are. I mean, they're not your enemies. I mean, they see you as an enemy, but you don't, because you're full of love. But God showed you the people that are trying to hinder you or stop your growth or stop you from achieving whatever God has intended for you. So just the spirit of discernment. Use that spirit of discernment. And if they ask you like, "Oh, how are you doing?" or you can just respond very shortly. You don't have to give them whatever it is that they're looking for. Most of the time, don't give in to whatever they want because it's not for good, right? So make sure that you're also not helping them do their job easier. So keep to yourself and be private. And yeah, you don't have to respond. Because I had that happen with certain people that live near me. They would be very persistent and continuously ask the same question: "How are you?" And I was like, "Good." "How's everything?" And I'm like, "Good." Have you been okay?" "Yeah." So they'll keep trying to fish out information. They're fishing out for more information. But you can't have conversations with some of them. You just can't. Yeah, narcissists will definitely try to project onto you and mimic you and copy you. But just remember that they can't really copy the real you because you're always growing, you're always evolving, and it's not really real what they're doing. So it's all just a shallow picture of you because it's not really who you are in the spirit, right? And exactly. Remember, you have power and control over your life. Don't allow anyone else to come into your life and try to control what you have going on or disturb your happiness or disturb your peace. You take full control. Because in reality, they don't have power over you at all. They're weak vessels to begin with. All they can do is get mad, lie about you, and try to guilt trip you. And they'll try to guilt trip you. Also be aware of that if you reject them after they rejected you. So, many of us targeted individuals were rejected by many people. They didn't want anything to do with us. They believed the lies that they heard about us, and we ended up experiencing massive rejection as TIs. Many of us, like our whole family, went against us. Our good friends, people that we didn't expect, who would end up leaving and walking away and choosing to work for the other side, they ended up going against us. So yeah, targeted individuals, we really experience a lot of rejection and betrayal. And we're allowed to feel our emotions, but don't let it consume you and don't pay too much attention to them because they already had decided, um, you know, how they really feel about you. So don't consume too much of your time, too much of your energy on someone that has already made up their mind. It's very difficult to try to control the way that someone perceives you once they've made up their mind. I've tried this several instances where I would try to constantly prove myself, constantly do this or that. There's no need to do that no longer. Just stay true to yourself and let the haters talk. Let them say whatever they want. Let them pretend like they know you when in reality they really have no clue who you really are because they haven't even taken the time to know who you are. And they can only meet you at the level that they've met themselves. So many of them can't meet you where you're at because you're deep like the ocean and they're shallow like a puddle. So this is not to be offensive, but it's just we really are on another level. So it's very hard for us to even find a relationship with someone who thinks alike, that's like-minded like us. Mhm. So I really hope that this video helped. I'm gonna have to end it soon because I have to go to work soon. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. Continue to be yourselves, continue to stay true to who you are, and continue to share that beautiful light with the world. Okay, I'm gonna make more videos on targeted individuals and, other um, other videos as well. But yeah, we go through a lot of rejection. So, one thing we have to do is we have to use all that as fuel to even motivate ourselves even more to push forward and use it as fuel. Like, transmute that negativity towards positivity and push yourself to continue to move forward no matter how much, because that should be proving to you that you're doing something right. Every time you continue to get another attack, every time someone continues to try to get in your way, to throw an obstacle, that should be confirmation that you are exactly where you should be, heading towards the right path. Yes, exactly. Allow them to reject you. Even most of these people don't even belong in your life to begin with. Many times, they're not for you and you're also not for them. You have to think about it that way as well. You're not for everybody. You know, Jesus did not intend you to be for every single person. Like, you're not on assignment for every person, and many of these people come and go in and out of your life, but you have to be aware um to put a stop to an end to it. If they continuously are repeated offenders, if they abuse you, mistreat you, disrespect you, name call you, manipulate you, deceive you, they're fake to you, you don't have to entertain them. So reject them. And even if they reject you too, take it as a blessing, because that means you're not going to waste your time because you're not on the same page. You already saw them for who they are, and you notice that both of you cannot even build off of a relationship when there's no trust and there's no truth. There's just lies. So always remember that. You're not for everyone either. And you have the right to choose who you allow into your life. That's your right that you have. And if you have to walk this journey alone, so be it. It's better than to be walking with the wrong company and walking towards the path of destruction. So stay true to who you are, and just know that I was rejected. I know she's a Jezebel and she knows I'm not good. Yeah, and they're aware that you know who they are as well. They finally realized that. We went through this massive shift, and these people are very aware that you see through them. You see through their little games, their mind games, and their fake niceness and fake smiles and all that. So continue to keep strong, continue to persevere. And yeah, Satan is powerless and that season is over. We might have to deal with some remnants of attacks, but we have already won, and don't ever forget it. Anointed and chosen ones. Thank you. Yes, exactly. So yeah, continue to do what you're doing. I'm proud of you all, and don't give up, and continue to be yourselves, continue to stay true, and I'll see you guys in the next live stream, hopefully tomorrow. All right, bye, take care, God bless you all.